The other day, IGN dropped a trailer for a game that I initially viewed with a bit of skepticism. It's called Fatekeeper. But after seeing the gameplay trailer the other day, I have to say that I am now much more on the side of being convinced that I'm pretty interested in this game. It is, based on what you can see in the footage, an action RPG. You essentially play a hulking brute that swings big weapons such as great swords and mauls and axes. You have a bit of magic in there too. You can swap out your equipment, there are potions, and you can even do things like kick enemies off of cliffs and what have you. All in all, it looks like a really fun game. And initially I was a bit skeptical, but having seen the gameplay, I think this game could be quite fun. Now, I don't expect this game to reinvent the wheel, and I've said repeatedly on the channel, that is an unreasonable expectation to begin with. I think things that exist should be refined and worked on and improved on, and this seems to be a nice entry into the action RPG, as it were. Now, theoretically, you could say that there is a competitor with this game, and that's Alcahest, but Alcahest, based on what I've seen so far, doesn't really seem to be moving along very much. I've talked about it before on the channel, obviously. There are no demos, there's no new footage, the developers haven't really talked. So I kind of view Alcahest as effectively dead in the water. I don't think it's going to make it past whatever they're doing. I think they have hit a dead end and they might be in development hell. I don't know. I don't expect that game to come out really ever at this stage. Maybe it will. But this game almost certainly will. When they're showing proper gameplay footage like this. On top of that, it's being published, Fatekeeper is the name of the game, by TH Nordic. And TH Nordic is a fairly prominent publisher. Not the biggest one in existence, but a pretty big one. So they have things to back up the game, basically. Now, the developer is called Paraglacial Studios. I'm not familiar with them. I don't even know what they've done. I tried to find some information on them, but at this moment in time, the internet is just abuzz with the game itself, and I can't find out any information about the studio. Needless to say, I think the game looks pretty good. The graphics look good enough, it looks crisp, the action looks fun. I don't think the story is going to be particularly amazing, but it's an action RPG, so I don't really expect it to have an amazing story. As long as the story is serviceable, it's fine. It doesn't need to be amazing, that's not the expectation. And you can see the kind of game it is, like I said. You have different stats, mana and health and what have you, equipment, and it's going to be basically a case of what you see is what you get. And what we probably will get seems a lot of fun. I've noticed a lot of people, oddly enough, since yesterday, comparing Fatekeeper with the Elder Scrolls 6, which I think is rather odd. Now, I get what they mean, because you can play the Elder Scrolls games in first person, and you have a lot of these features. Effectively, the Elder Scrolls is kind of an action RPG, maybe an immersive sim, depending on your interpretation of the genre, but I don't know if the analogy really holds. This gameplay looks a lot better than anything Elder Scrolls could ever produce or bring to market. I mean, Bethesda is just wholly incapable of this. And more to the point, Bethesda is still using its old engine, the game, Gyro, I don't have any idea how to pronounce it at this stage. It doesn't really matter. It's a really old engine. And that engine is not capable of producing action like this, not in the slightest. So when people are comparing this game, Fateseeker, with the Elder Scrolls 6, they probably mean the perspective, the first-person perspective, the fact that you have magic and weapons, and you can put on armor and different sorts of things like that. I get it, kind of. But fundamentally, Elder Scrolls 6, even though it's almost assured to be a terrible, awful game, I mean, there's almost no hope in the heavens or the hells or in purgatory that Elder Scrolls 6 will be a good game, almost certainly not. Even granting all of that, it is not the same type of game, because Elder Scrolls 6 is a game where you wander around, like I said, hence the term immersive sim. The world, you discover things, you enter caves and catacombs and dungeons, and you slay monsters. And in Fatekeeper, you're just slaying monsters. I don't know how expansive the world is. I think it's pretty linear, is my impression. I don't think it's an open world action RPG, which is fine by me. I think we could use a lot more linear games these days. We have too much and have had too much, to the point of oversaturation, of these open world RPGs that purport to be RPGs when they're not really RPGs. This just looks like a fun action game. And by the gods, I think we deserve it at this stage. We just don't have many games like this that are just kind of fun and straight and to the point. And if it turns out to have a good story and good writing, we can all appreciate it and enjoy the game. In terms of inspiration, far more than the Elder Scrolls, I'd say that this kind of reminds me of Vermintide a bit. I used to play quite a bit of Vermintide back in the day. Not excessively so, but a fair bit. And it takes some inspiration from, obviously, Dark Messiah. I'm almost certain of that. And maybe a little bit from some other games. But I think Vermintide and Dark Messiah are the two biggest inspirations here. And what can I say? It looks like it could be a fun game. For me, ultimately, a game that I can truly appreciate needs to have a good, compelling story. And so a game like this is more just the type of game I would play just to sort of chill out and have fun rather than to immerse myself and sort of escape reality. But nonetheless, a nice little thing coming up, I guess. Hopefully it'll arrive sometime next year. It looks pretty solid, and I think the gameplay is reflective of how the game is actually going to play for us. So that's another plus point, another bonus point at the end of the day. So Fatekeeper, made by Paraglacial Studios, being published by TH Nordic. Something to look forward to. And if you're not aware, well, check out the trailer in its fullness on IGN. I'm using it obviously in the background. As always, thank you for tuning in. And if you like my videos and you like my taste, you can leave a like, comment, share, and subscribe. It's much appreciated, as it really helps out the channel. And I'll check you out next time. Take care.